Unless things change.
Hold your stuff then. That way nobody bothers you. You get that radio out of the way. You'll get bothered by it.
How we doing?
All right.
Good.
Phones on silent, guys.
Is this like flexible? Or?
Yeah, I know. All right. Mine was on silent. Mayor, is yours on
You just
silent?
like squeeze it in?
So that you don't get bothered by stuff.
I didn't do that. Oh, yes. Everybody good? Oh, good. Close. Take your time for it.
Ready?
You good? Hold up 1 second. Good?
All good?
Hi, Mayor.
All right, little update since 12 o'clock this afternoon. Still our numbers of first responders is over 200. 5 alarm conditions, what they said it was. Looks like they're getting it pretty well under control. They have declared it an emergency disaster at the county level, also at the state level on the thing, so that's going to help us out quite a bit to do that. But the big thing from the city of Madison is to thank all these companies from St. Louis all the way down to Jefferson County for their responding to us and give us a hand with this situation on there. And thanks to the county board chairman. We got a call from the governor's office that he's here to help us any way he can. I appreciate that this afternoon on there. So at that point, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Coppin on there. He's got some more details, and then for questions.
Thank you, Mayor. So just a couple of things, guys, that I'll run down here. My name is Matt Coppin, Lieutenant Matt, M-A-T-T Coppin, C-O-P-P-I-N. I'm here as part of the incident support team providing mutual aid. So even though I'm from Metro West, I just want to make it clear that the Madison County first responders are in charge of the scene and are currently running this scene. Before we get started, there is still a 1-mile shelter-in-place order in effect right now. What that means is we're asking all residents and business owners in 1 mile of this scene to go inside, turn off their air conditioning, and keep their windows and doors closed until further notice. This alert was made earlier today via a code red alert, which came from the Madison County 911. That's a text messaging system that sends out that alert to a geo-fenced area on a map. So residents in that area received that alert. It was also put out through social media and our media partners here. So this scene started about 10 o'clock this morning with a report of a fire at the Interco company. That's a Metaltronics recycler here on Fox Industrial Drive. Currently, what was on fire was recycling materials, the structure itself, and some cars that were parked near the building. There were several explosions earlier today due to the hazardous materials, and those materials are being identified at this time. There was some concern for the lumber yard, which is located near this facility, but at this time the lumber yard remains unimpacted, and that's no longer a concern at this point. The cause of the fire is still unknown. When the fire is out, the investigation will begin. So to that point, the fire is not out. We have not put this fire under control, and we plan to be here for an extended amount of time until that happens. This was a 5-alarm fire with Madison County and Illinois mutual aid. The way mutual aid works in the St. Louis region is when one agency needs help, they just call for help and it shows up. So if you need more fire trucks, if you need more ambulances, you just put that request out, and that's handled through our dispatch partners, and they arrive on scene. So 5 alarms here on the Illinois side. In addition to that, resources from the Missouri side came over. That included a ladder strike team, a pumper, which is a fire truck strike team, a tanker strike team. So access to water here is limited because of the train tracks. So these are trucks that just bring in their own water. EMS units, our police agency partners, and state and federal emergency environmental protection agency partners as well. So we've got easily over 200 first responders here on scene still addressing this incident. As far as injuries, there is a report of one employee that received some burns. They were transported to a hospital. We still don't have, we still don't know their condition at this time, but when we find that out, we will give that information to you guys. No firefighters have been injured, no first responder injuries to report right now. Last thing I'll mention is we are currently providing air monitoring. That's done through Madison County Hazardous Materials. This is an ongoing process, much like what they would do during a Super Bowl or some large event where they're continually monitoring the air, constantly sniffing for whatever may be in the air. And that will help us determine when it's safe to take off that shelter-in-place restrictions. So that's kind of the latest and greatest here. If you have any questions, myself, the mayor, would be glad to answer what we can.
Do you know how many people were inside when the...
No, there were employees there. I don't know how many employees were in the building when it started.
Is that a male or a female employee?
I don't know.
Do you know where the fire started inside the building?
No, we don't know the cause at this time. We have to put the fire under control before the investigation phase can start. So we're not to that point yet.
Why are shelter in place instead of evacuation?
So evacuation takes people outside into that environment that we're concerned about. So sheltering in place, turning off the air conditioning, closing the doors, that's the safest place for those residents.
How toxic is this plume?
Yeah, I don't have that information. So the question was, how toxic is the plume? I don't know what hazardous materials were in that building or what may be in that plume. That's something that they're working to determine at this time.
Can you talk about those items that were on fire again that you know of?
So for sure there were the materials inside the building that were being recycled, the structure itself, the actual building itself, and there were some cars parked near that structure that ended up catching on fire as well.
Any batteries that we were hearing about earlier?
That I'm not sure about. Yeah. So I know it's considered a metals recycling facility, but I'm not sure what was inside it.
Any idea how old is the plant, the factory itself?
No, I don't know. I don't know what
There
the.
was a fire here a couple of years ago, a real long fire. Any similarities?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't familiar with that fire, so I'm sure that's something that'll be addressed in the days to come.
These two other buildings caught on fire as well?
That I'm not sure, Mayor. Do you know? What I have is just the one structure that was on fire.
There was an additional warehouse next to it that went to.
Okay, an additional warehouse next door.
And that goes how far back? Does it go back halfway here? Did it?
Yeah, their property, I don't know where their property line is based on where we are right now.
Is it one level, two levels?
With multiple level building, is that? Okay. Yep.
Is there a realistic timeline on when this fire can be out?
Yeah, I don't have that timeline. We can see that progress has been made. I would foresee they're still being here several more hours until we can put that under control.
Are they running into any problems, or are they just trying to fight putting out all these chemicals?
Yeah, so I think it's the materials that are in the building. It just takes a lot of resources to be able to extinguish those. So I think that's what we're seeing today.
How long is the shelter in place until the fire's out?
Yeah, well, no, until they can determine that they know what kind of materials are in the smoke and that it's under control. So yeah, I would imagine it would still be in place for several more hours.
What do you say to nearby residents and business owners who have any concerns?
Yeah, no, the right thing to do at this point is to shelter in place, is to turn off the air conditioner, close the door, and just stay inside. And it's hard when you're asking people to help you by doing nothing, but that's really what we need people to do, is just stay inside. It really is the safest place for them to be right now.
When we got on scene, it seems like the firefighters waited before they attacked the fire. Is that part of the strategy because it was just uncontrollable?
So I'm not sure exactly what happened at that initial moment. I can say incidents like these, they kind of unfold, right? So there's a whole list of concerns and issues that need to be taken place, but there's an order that needs for those to take place. And the top of that order is life safety. So if a building is on fire, and I'm just speaking generally, but the priority is to keep people safe, that will happen before extinguishing happens. So again, I don't know specifically what happened in this case, but sometimes, you know, to go from the first arriving fire truck on scene to a 5-alarm or bigger fire, it takes place over time, and I think that's probably what you saw.
So it's 6 hours in county. Any idea how much longer?
Yeah, I think we still have a couple hours to be here. This is going to be an extended incident, and even once the fire is extinguished and placed under control, then we move into the overhaul process where we go through the remains of the building and try to find hot spots, and then the investigation process starts. So I think we'll be out here tomorrow and maybe beyond that.
Are you fighting it strictly with water now, or are we bringing in some
I'm not sure.
chemicals?
Sometimes foam is used as well. From what I've heard, it's just water at this point. No, there was no concern about the tankers. The train tracks were shut down so that we could access the fire hydrants on this side of the street. So, but no concern with the rail cars. All right, guys. All right, when we have more, we'll let you know. Mayor, anything else? Very good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.